This is NBK, nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane. 5 seconds on the shot clock, who gon' win us the game? You wanna hear Nick updates and trade rumors? Post-game reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is NBK, nothing but Knicks.
Knicks family, what's poppin'? Is your boy. Ladies and gentlemen, somebody told me that Josh Hart wasn't a 3-and-D shooter. I ain't gonna say no names.
Hey, that was some prolific three-point shooting tonight from him.
Prolific tonight. It was prolific shooting tonight from Josh Hart. Yeah, it was. 4 for 6 from the three-point line. 10 for 14 from the field. Good shooting from Josh Hart. 27 points, 4 rebounds. Of course, the story of the night is Jalen Brunson, 40 points, 5 assists. He had, 38 points the other night? Mm-hmm. Jalen Brunson? Man, how much more can you say about Jalen Brunson and his play?
3 games in a row with 30
it's crazy.
Plus. Dude can score.
It's crazy. Nate, you got a little bit of static on your talking, so you might want to clean that up. The Knicks, man, they beat the Nets 124-106. Started off a tight game, right? The game was much tighter than I wanted it to be. The Nets were playing the Knicks pretty close. Finally, somewhere in that third quarter, the Knicks started to take control of the game and ended up beating the Nets by 18 points. They break, a 9-game losing streak to the Nets? Yeah, the Knicks break a 9-game losing streak, ladies and gentlemen. So, that's a good win. Good win for the New York Knicks. The Knicks are now, the Miami Heat lost tonight. The Atlanta Hawks, they lost tonight. So the Knicks are currently...
And the Brooklyn Nets lost tonight.
And the Nets lost, right? And the Nets lost. So the Knicks are now a half game behind the Miami Heat, 3 games behind the Nets. Right? They should be like 2.5 games behind the Nets or something like that. We'll see how it calculates. But, 1 more game to go before the All-Star break. The Knicks take on the Atlanta Hawks. This would give the Knicks a chance to create more separation between them and the Hawks if the Knicks can get the win, right? If the Knicks beat the Hawks, they'll be, 3 games above the Hawks. You know what I mean? So, we'll see where that goes. But let's talk about this game here. We'll get back to the standings. Tony, your thoughts on the game?
Oh, beautiful win, man. Beautiful win. I feel like Randall had a great game. I feel like his impact was even bigger than his numbers, and he had good numbers. Josh Hart, 3-and-D. the guy came out firing. He loves the fact that he's here.
Yeah,
like you could just tell. You know what I mean? He's pointing to his chest. Consecutive games now, pointing to the New York sign on his chest. I love the fact, and it's crazy because if this was prior to the trade deadline and anybody else did this, I wouldn't have liked it. But the fact that he's barking at Dinwiddie at the free throw line, talk about, that's big talk when y'all are down 14. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else, I would have hated that. We blown 14-point leads. You know what I mean? Like it's 8 minutes left. Like don't motivate these guys. But him coming here, not knowing, you know what I mean, what we've gone through and where it's been, it just showed like, or maybe knowing. I don't care. I'm talking my talk. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not gonna let you talk your talk to me without me. You know what I mean? So
And you know, I feel like with Hart and the way that he plays, his style of basketball, it really does help to prevent those when you have a 14-point lead, 12-point lead. It helps to prevent those comebacks, right? Because he does those little things that get you the lead. He does those little things that keeps the lead for you. You know what I'm saying? I can point to the one play tonight where it looked like they were about to, and obviously other Knicks have done it, but it looked like the Nets were about to have a fast break dunk, probably.
Interception.
He got the interception, then comes down and makes a layup, right?
Yep.
Those are the type of plays that, they do a lot of things. You know what I mean? They can break a team. Those plays can spearhead your team going on a run. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And he does those little things.
It's a 4-point swing in a matter of seconds. Right. In less than a 24-shot clock possession.
27 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal tonight for Josh Hart. He does all of those type of little things that you need. You know what I mean? And you can see the reason why he was brought here and why Tibbs wanted to be on this basketball team. You can see the reason why. You can see it. Good win for the Knicks, man.
Sim, another thing I noticed from him, again at the free throw line. This was the opposite half, so it might have been the first half. I'm not sure, but pointing out the defensive assignments. You know what I mean? We've heard like Mitchell Robinson do it sometimes, but that's usually in the middle of the possession. This is before the possession. You know what I mean? Making sure everybody's on the same page. Who you got? I got him. You got him. You know what I mean? And that secures that next play. Right. You know what I mean? Like, or at least helps that next play. So everybody's on the same page defensively. Those little nuances end up adding up to big results, I'll say.
Exactly. But let's talk about, let's just go ahead and go down the list. We'll talk about everybody. First, let's read off the box score. 40 points for Jalen Brunson, 5 assists, 2 rebounds. He's been, the guy's been dropping buckets like crazy lately. You know what I mean? Julius Randle, 18 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. Josh Hart, as we mentioned, 27 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Emmanuel Quickly, 14 points, 5 assists tonight. RJ Barrett, 4 points, 1 rebound, shot 25% from the field, shot 0% from the three-point line, was over 3 from the three-point line. He ended up going out, with some kind of injury, but came back to the bench. Okay, let's start there. We'll get that out the way, right? Because now you're really starting to hear the groans all over the place about RJ. You know what I mean? About his defense. I've complained about his defense. I've complained about RJ too. You know what I mean? But, you're really starting to see it and hear it all over the place now. I do want to make something clear. I might groan about his defense and groan about, some things about RJ and talk about, I don't think he has a lot of speed, and I don't think he, he's not this, great athlete, and the way that I think he should improve, by using his footwork, by using angles defensively and those type of things. But I don't want him traded. Now, I would, for the right player, I would trade anybody. I don't think anyone's untouchable. But I don't want him traded. You know what I mean? I would like to see RJ still grow with the team. I'd like to see him fight out of the slump that he's in. Although it's been a season-long slump, he's kind of been up and down a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those people I'm not just turning my back on RJ. I am a little frustrated with his play. But I'd like to see RJ succeed and, become the player that we hope that he can become. Now, obviously, if some kind of trade comes up, would I move him? Of course I would. I would move Randall for Giannis too. You know what I mean? I would move Brunson for somebody too. You know what I mean? Depending on, who that player is, of course, I would trade anybody for the right player. You know what I mean? But, I do need RJ to improve, though. I do need him and want him to improve. I seen somebody the other night, and I had it starred. I didn't get a chance to mention it. Said that, RJ has started the season slow before. You got to give him time, this and that. Well, I mean, we're 3/4 of the way through the season. So it's no longer a start. Your start is the first quarter of the season. It's no longer a start. But, Tony, what's up with RJ, man?
All right. Well, I'm not going to bash him. I'm going to actually take a different approach. I feel like a couple things. Back to Hart, the addition of Hart is going to help RJ in the long run. I feel like number one is going to take the immediate pressure off of him. On a normal circumstance prior, chances are we don't win a game like this if RJ plays the way he played today. You know what I mean? So I think ultimately, if we continue to win, there'll be less pressure on him to actually, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on him right now, to be honest. Like you said, there's a lot of barking, a lot of whispers, you know what I mean? A lot of chatter. This is new to RJ. RJ's never been under this type of pressure. And again, I don't know if he's watching videos and all this, but the players here, it's hard to ignore it. Right. You know what I mean? Their friends are calling them, their family's calling them, somebody's sending them a poster of somebody said this, that, or the third. So I'm sure it's seeping through, and he's not accustomed to this. But again, I know a lot of people are tired of hearing about his age, but I believe that is a vital factor. And I say that to say, look at Randall from 2 years ago to last year to this year, the growth, the fluctuation. He's still learning. You know what I mean?
Right.
Brunson still learning. We can't expect RJ to be at his peak at this moment. So basically what I'm saying is the best thing for him is actually for him to be allowed to grow. And the addition of a guy like Hart will in my belief will help him grow at whatever pace he needs to grow at. You know what I mean? We don't have to rely on him as much. So now when he comes through, it becomes the bonus.
Right.
But all that being said, he needs to get better. He needs to get more efficient.
Yeah.
My question is, is it seeping through? Is it getting to him? Like is the pressure actually getting to him this time? Because he's never had to feel this.
Right.
He's witnessed it. He witnessed it, you know what I mean, from the other side. And now the tables have turned.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like he had the greatest of examples in how to, in how to handle
right.
it before. But that being said, he could also lean on Randall and talk to him and help him if it is getting to him. You know what I mean? But he's always been considered, strong-minded. Things don't affect him, da-da-da-da-da. But it's never been to this magnitude before. So I'm sure it's different now.
Yeah, I think the key is going to be, are his teammates and coaches supporting him through this time? You know what I mean? The fans are going to say, and what they're going to say, and people are going to be mad and disgruntled and want him traded and call him a bust and all that kind of stuff. Are his teammates having his back? That's going to be the important thing. Do they have his back in the locker room? Are they telling him keep shooting? Are they working with him on, defensive tips or whatever it is? If he's sick or if he's hurt or whatever he's going through, does he have the support in the locker room? That's going to be the key. You know what I mean? And I mean, I think you're right. This is, if there's any time for him to go through this, it's right now with this team. You know what I mean? Because now, you got Randall playing at a very high level, all-star level. Jalen Brunson playing at an all-star level. You just brought in a guy that can play defense. Obviously, when the situations are right, he can put up some points. You're not expecting him to come in and average 20 points a game, but, between 10 and 15, you're hoping that he can give you. You got guys like Emmanuel Quickly that's stepping up. Quentin Grimes is, on and off. I mean, Quickly's kind of on and off too, but I think Grimes is a little more on and off than Quickly. So there's enough depth for him to, learn. You know what I mean? Go through the trial and the error, and figure out his game. And at this point, rely on Brunson, rely on Randall. You know what I'm saying? Rely on those guys to carry the team on the nights that you're not hot. You don't have to force it. If your shot ain't hitting, don't force it. You know what I'm saying? Rely on those guys and then just let the game come to you. He has that luxury. You know what I mean? He has that luxury.
That's exactly what I was trying to say. And I don't think he had it before. I don't think we had it before. You know what I mean? So lean on it.
Yeah, definitely lean on it. But, of course, people are going to say, look, Sharice Duncan, ship him to Canada for OG. I mean, I get it. He's going to be in trade rumors. And obviously there's people that I think any one of us would trade RJ for, but I'm still trying to support him. You know what I mean? Still trying to support him.
Even the OG thing, I'm not 100% sold on. Like, if it was a straight up swap, I would be more inclined. But if we have to attach, draft capital as well, I think that age difference means a lot. You know what I mean, between OG and RJ. And granted, OG's came in the league as a defender, so you know what I mean. There is that difference, but he's also really just started coming on as a scorer the last 2 years,
right? Where
RJ's been out the gate 14. You know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and continuing to grow. So I feel like you know what I mean. It's a tough decision, man. But you don't gotta make it tougher, especially if we're succeeding. You know what I mean. If we're succeeding, now you just let the ride, enjoy the ride, and as we've seen. I mean, I was gonna say he is a workhorse, even though Tibbs has twice now questioned his, work ethic or saying he needs to go to the gym a little bit more. So I don't know what that's about, but
yeah, I mean,
his MO is a workhorse.
Yeah. Nate, your thoughts, man?
I think it's confidence right now. RJ's confidence is not very high, and you can see it on the court. He just looks a little.
Hey, Nate, you might need to go out and come back in because, it's a lot. You got a lot of static going on right now. Uncle Fulio, what's popping, man?
Good evening, fellas. Good evening to the chat and BK fam out there. I showed up because I seen a super chat with my name in it. Someone called me out.
There we go. Throw it up there on the screen. Shout out to Sand Art Man. Says, where's Josh at? Josh Hart looks like a catch and shoot 3-and-D guard to me.
No. But let me just say this. First of all, one of the reasons why I'm here is because they say, well, Josh, you only show up after the Knicks. You only show up after the Knicks lose. You never show up when the Knicks win. Then they want to say you only show up when RJ has bad games. You never showed up when RJ scores 30. And then, all of this stuff. So I don't know when to come in and when to come out. I just know I'm always busy. That's the reason why I'm not here a lot. But I do want to say in regards to this RJ matter, they just paid him a contract. They just signed him to a contract, and he has not shown any improvement.
He's not getting paid that money yet.
And we're not gonna sit here and do that because again, I'm gonna keep harping on this. We had multiple discussions about what RJ's max was, what we think he's gonna get, and all that. And if you go to the lowest number that anybody said, and I was one of the lowest numbers, he got less than that. So
and
even, you know what I mean? Like,
and you know what, Tony?
Wow.
Hold up. No, hold up. Don't say wow.
Say nothing. Go ahead.
Because check this out. Last year, Julius Randle signed an extension. He didn't get paid that extension. That extension started this year. Everybody was on his back. You got to trade him. You got to get rid of him. We paid him all this money. He ain't worth it. 19-10, that's worthless stats. Da-da-da-da-da. Now this year, it's flipped. His extension actually started this season, right now. This is when the extension started. And it's flipped. You know what I'm saying? Who's to say that RJ doesn't come back next year and have a very good season? Because he's getting paid $11 million this season. Who's to say? Julius Randle came to the Knicks at what, 24 years old? He's 28 now. He never made an all-star game until 2 seasons ago. Now he's 4 years with the Knicks. He's an all-star 2 of those 4 years.
And we've seen the growth.
You know what I
And
mean?
we've seen the highs.
Y'all didn't even give me a chance to get my point out. Tony just cut me off, and Sim just go ahead and went with it. I didn't even get a chance. First of all, I never said RJ was a bust. I never said trade RJ just to trade him. I never said any of that. So I don't know where all of that's coming from.
Nobody said you said that. You said he got paid.
He signed a contract extension, did he not?
Yes.
Okay, so he signed a contract extension. I replaced that for paid. He signed a contract extension. Tony said there's room for growth there, which I do agree. But I think the pressure is going to be turned up because he just signed a contract extension. And now he's in year 4 in the NBA, right? And now people want to talk about his age and everything like that. He is definitely in year 4 right now. So in NBA years, that's a lot compared to other rookies that come into the NBA, right? So, and he has not improved. He's actually taken a step back, right? Personally, for me, I didn't have heavy expectations for the guy anyway. I didn't think he was this big star player like a lot of Knicks fans in the RJ stands had him as. I always thought he was a role player. And there's going to be times where RJ is going to have really good games. And there's going to be times where RJ is going to play mediocre. And there's going to be times where RJ doesn't play well at all, right? So what's happening right now is not surprising to me. I'm not going to bash him because he's having these types of games. I think this is all what I expected of him sometimes because he's not that guy. Personally, and that's just always been my take on it. That's why I'm not going crazy about it. You know, I never called RJ Barrett a bust. If I'm going to trade RJ Barrett, it's always going to be for a player who I feel personally is going to be better than him and can help the team. Personally, you know, and I may have been wrong about a few in the past, but that's been my only thing about RJ Barrett. I just think, you know, he is who he is, and fans have to really understand that. And, you know, that's just how it is with him.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Tony. Mr. Outcast, he says, Sim, are you getting paid by the Knicks? No, I'm getting paid by you from watching this video. So, no, I'm not getting paid by the Knicks. He said, you won't even let Josh talk. We argue all the time. He said, this is lame. Well, you can go to another channel. Go ahead, Tony.
And I wanted to apologize to Josh for cutting you off. But I was only addressing the fact that I don't like when people talk about RJ's money for the simple fact that we've had the discussion prior to, and everybody was saying they was worried about the money. Oh, what are we going to pay him? What are we going to pay him? And I brought the question up. Well, what would you pay him? You know what I mean? And we all went around the chat and gave a number.
Tony, my question, when I said that just now,
the number he got paid was even lower than my number, which was the lowest out of everybody in the group.
Tony, when I said what I said about RJ getting paid, it was about him signing a contract extension. I think he's worth his current contract. I think he's going to be worth, 20-something million next year. I think he's going to be worth that next year. So it's not about the amount of money. That's why you should let me finish. I think it's the fact that we gave him an extension and he's going to be on this team for the next 4 years. And they signed him and they marketed him because they didn't get the Donovan Mitchell trade as the future of the franchise. And he has not improved at all. You know what I'm saying? That's where the issue lies for, I think, a lot of people. And they're starting to realize that, you know, he's just not that guy. So everyone criticizing me, I'm an RJ hater and everything like that. That's just not who he's not a superstar level player. He doesn't have that potential. He's going to be a really good player in this NBA, in the NBA, maybe fringe all-star, but I don't see that level of potential with a lot of Knicks fans have him as. And that's just me. I've never felt that way.
And I actually agree with you that I always thought he was going to be a guy that could make the All-Star team, maybe be on it this year, maybe not next year, maybe not that year after, then maybe on it again. I always thought he was going to be that kind of guy just from the talent level that I see. I'm not mad at you. I just get mad at all the people that kind of quickly start to hate and bash RJ.
Well, Sim, we said it last year that this year was going to be a new scapegoat, right? And we said it was going to be RJ, right? So you get me. I'm not surprised by it. I mean, that's just how it is in New York. But people can't look at me and say I'm suddenly doing it. No, because
you're right. You always wanted him.
I've been saying this.
You always wanted him on the bench. I mean, no lies. You always said it.
And in certain circumstances, I was right there with you.
You always wanted him on the bench.
And there's no shade to him at all. I think the fit with Randall is a problem. I think the fact that he's slow, unathletic, he's very crafty, but I think he needs to play with a faster unit. The starting unit to me is just too slow for him, for his type of game. I think he would benefit, and the team would benefit by him going to the bench, especially now that we have Josh Hart, especially now that we have him.
He's got to get more crafty. He's really got to work in the offseason on his footwork because he's never going to have the lightning speed or the jumping ability. He's got to take lessons from Jalen Brunson. He's got to play that style of basketball, but at 6'7", in my opinion.
I don't even think it has to be that per se, because similar to Randall in making quick decisions, I think that will benefit RJ a lot as well. So if he can figure out how to, I'm gonna say attack the rim or make a move, get his shot up with 2 to 3 dribbles. Like if you run that drill all summer, figuring out how I can score with only 2 dribbles, only 3 dribbles. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I think he needs the ball too long to actually get to making his shot. And it's not like in the sense of Randall, where Randall's kind of holding the ball. RJ's, he's usually moving backwards to maybe gain some momentum to move forward. I think that takes time. You know what I mean? He has to maneuver a lot in the paint.
Yeah. See, I'm just not sure. I don't know if he has the speed to get to the basket in 2 dribbles, 3 dribbles. That's the thing. I don't think he has the speed to get there. Because in order to only use, 2 or 3 dribbles, you got to be able to, like that first dribble off the first step, boom, you got past your guy. Now you take that second dribble because there's someone else there. Now you get into your 2 steps or something like that. I just don't know if he has that speed.
I'm thinking like longer strides. I'm thinking of even in the sense of the guy they call slow-mo, right? Just being more meticulous is kind of what I mean. We're probably saying the same thing. I'm just thinking he'll never have Randall's footwork. I mean, Brunson's footwork. So he's gonna have to have it, but minimized, if you will.
Yeah. Okay.
Can I just be positive about RJ for 1 second?
Do it. Somebody timestamp it. Timestamp it right now. Make a short out of it.
Please the chat.
One thing I like about RJ, he's resilient, right? The slow starts. Tonight obviously is not an example of that, but slow starts. He tends to come around the second half of the season, and even during games, might start the game slow, tends to come back around. Today, what I seen from RJ was a little bit uncharacteristic, and I think it's a positive for him. That little squat or a spat that he got into it with Royce O'Neal, that little thing, that's uncharacteristic of RJ. RJ never really gets into those little things. I think he's frustrated. He realizes he's struggling right now, and I think that little thing can help him. So all those things, I'm always talking about negativity with RJ. There you go. There's some positivity and some optimism on how he can get better from a mental perspective, in my opinion.
All right. Nate, go ahead. Hopefully the static is going.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me better now?
Yeah. You charged it up. Go ahead.
I don't know what's up with the reception, man. It's up and down. It's confidence of RJ. Obviously we know that he's not the greatest shooter in the world. We knew that from the get-go. I'd love to see RJ more in the mid-range. I think he can make a living in the mid-range if he works more on that game. I don't want to see him shooting threes. I know that that's a part of his game he's shown, but I just want to see him more in the mid-range. I think if he can just develop a good mid-range shot like a Jimmy Butler type, he plays mostly in the mid-range himself or inside. I think RJ really could relish in that, and then he could shoot the occasional threes once in a while. But I want to see him more inside. I really do.
I think he's got to, in order to get that mid-range game down, I think he's got to develop that footwork more. You know what I mean?
That's true. To position himself. I agree.
And I see him doing some things that, I haven't seen him do in the past. He's not always efficient at doing them. But, I see him doing some spin moves, using some footwork. It's not always efficient. Hopefully it comes in time. You know what I mean?
I got a question for y'all. If, and it's a big if, I don't think it's ever going to happen, but if RJ continues to struggle, you could possibly see it if Hart continues to excel. If RJ was to be put on the bench, okay, for whatever reasons, how do you think he would respond to it? Because he didn't respond well when Tibbs would pull him out of the game. How do you think he would respond playing primarily off the bench?
Well, Nate, that's not necessarily true. There was some times where Tibbs didn't play him down the stretch and he responded. So I think it'll be positive.
But I'm talking about like completely coming off the bench.
Yeah. No, I know.
Right.
I'm just going by the example. The examples previously of Tibbs taking him out. He's responded in the next games after that. So I think it'll be positive for him.
Well, the last one he was not happy about. You remember he kind of made it vocal.
I'm sorry. Sure. You're never happy at the time, but the response is the next game.
Sure. I get it.
So I agree. I think he won't be happy, but I think his response will be positive. He'll play better.
Yeah, I don't know many players that's going to be happy going from starting to the bench, right? Some players won't care. They're just going to be like if probably Josh Hart is the kind of guy that's like, all right, whatever, right? Maybe even Quentin Grimes is that kind of guy. Deuce McBride, you know what I mean? Like those kind of guys are going to be like, okay, whatever you're asking of me. RJ coming to the Knicks, starting right from the beginning, being a starter for 4 years, going to the bench. Of course he's going to be a little unhappy. You know what I mean? Would he respond? I think he would. I think he would respond. You know what I mean? And then say, well, you know what? I need to show everybody that I need to start. I think he would respond in that way. I don't think he'd get mad and be disgruntled and say he wanted to be traded and stuff like that. I don't see that in him.
And sometimes it's a humbling experience. Will make you go back and reevaluate things, and then you see the best you. We've seen it with guys, maybe of a lesser stature, but getting sent to the G League.
Tim Hardaway Jr.
And there you go. And then it light bulb. All right, I got to figure out how I'm not going to be put here again. You know what I mean? I got to figure out how I could stay and be effective on the real squad. So I think it's the same type of mindset, and I think that's the approach he'll take.
Yeah.
And if he's really about that life, like all the RJ stands feel like he is, he will bounce back.
He'll bounce back. Right. He'll bounce back.
If that was the case, if
that were the case, right. Yeah. He would, I think he would put in the work to bounce back. I think he would bounce back. You know what I mean? Let's talk about Brunson though, because man, I keep saying it over. I feel like a broken record, but he continues though to just impress me. It's like I did not think we were getting this from Jalen Brunson. I really did not. And I was looking tonight. I was like, I feel like we got one of the best guards in the league with the way that he's playing. I did not expect this from Jalen Brunson at all. You know what I mean? He's close to what, 23, almost 24 points a game? Maybe 23, almost 23 points a game?
No, it's 24. 24.
I mean,
after tonight, it's 24.
I didn't expect this at all from Jalen Brunson, man. Tony, go ahead. Then we pass the mic around.
I'm going to keep saying it. He's going to be an all-star this year. And I know you keep, everything is set, but Jaylen Brown, Jaylen Brown might not play.
He said he was going to play.
He said he wants to play.
Oh, I said he was going to play.
He said he wants to play. Brunson's gonna be an all-star this year. That's all I'm gonna say, and it's gonna be well deserved. And if he doesn't, he's just proving to everybody that, oh, y'all missed it. Y'all made a mistake.
Yeah, I mean,
who's everybody?
The people that didn't vote him in to be an all-star.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about like free agency or whatever. Sorry.
You're talking about coaches too, Tony, because he didn't even get on as a reserve.
Yeah. Blue Hepner said, "Did you not see Brunson in the playoffs?" I did, but I didn't expect it was going to be on a nightly basis. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because, you can have players that can come in and for a stretch, play, out of their minds for a stretch, but then when the scouting report surrounds them, you know what I'm saying? They don't play at that level anymore. You know what I mean? Jerome James. I couldn't pull his name up. Right? Jerome James. Right. You know what I'm saying? He got the contract from Isaiah Thomas in the Knicks.
Oh, Lord.
Right?
Let's not go there.
Sorry.
Let's not go there.
Bruises all the time.
Sorry about that.
$100 million contract.
So, I didn't know that he was going to be able to do it on a nightly basis. You know what I mean? But he is. He's able to do it on a nightly basis. Tony asked a couple of weeks ago, our defense is starting to figure out what he does. If they did, he figured out how to combat it. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Josh, did you expect this?
I knew based on the playoffs, so I'm going to use that playoff example. Based on the playoffs, I know Jalen Brunson was capable of having these type of nights. Not on an every night basis, like you said. Past 9 games, I think he's averaging something crazy, 30-something points per game, shooting over 50% from the field. Like his numbers are ridiculous over the last 9 games. I didn't expect it on an every night basis. My thought process was if Jalen Brunson can just come here, provide some stability at the position, settle the team down the stretch of games, stuff like that, and whatever he gives us, 15 to 20 points, I'll take it. That's going to be his norm. Anything else he gives us above that is extra. But now Jalen Brunson is putting himself into a different type of all-star type of category. To now we have to reevaluate, what exactly we have. Here's what I will say though, and I'm grateful that we have Jalen Brunson. I'm not going to take anything away from him. I still think we need one more scorer to take us to the next level to pair with Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
To have the ball in that person's hands outside of Brunson, because I think Brunson is a tremendous finisher, and I think him being ball dominant at the end of games at times will hurt us. Particularly in the playoffs, I think that's going to hurt us. But for right now, I'll take it.
So I'd be lying if I said, yeah, I thought this is who we were getting. But I'm gonna say, yeah, this is who I thought we were getting.
Yeah, I agree, because his game, like when you watched him play in Dallas when Luka was not in the game, he was the guy. He was scoring. He was doing everything he's doing in New York. The thing is that he's not playing with Luka, so he's playing with more freedom. He doesn't have a ball dominant guy as much as Luka was, and he's able to gel more. And the one thing I will say about Brunson that really surprised me more than anything is how efficient he is. Like, he doesn't force shots. He makes a good clip from 3. He's inside. He's outside. Like, the guy is just efficient. Like, I don't know what his numbers are for the season. I'm sure they're probably in the high 40s and probably shooting high 40 for 3, but he's just efficient.
Not high 40 for 3.
He's up to 40. He's up to 40% from 3.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
Right now, and he started the season horrible from 3.
But his overall percentage is what, like 45, 46? Gotta be over
47.9% from the field for the season right now, and 40.7% from 3 for the season right now. He's averaging 23.6 points per game. Yeah.
I mean, just very efficient, doesn't turn over the ball, runs the floor well, plays okay defense, can't ask for anything more from the guy.
Per Per Basketball Reference, Brunson is the first Knick and 19th player in NBA history to score at least 40 or more points, 0 turnovers, and shoot at least 70% from the field in a game.
Okay.
First Knick, 19th player in NBA history.
Right. Wow. Brunson over the last 10 games, 31.9 points per game, 55.7% from the field, 46.9% from three. That's over the last 10 games.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That is crazy. Yeah, that's something, man.
He's definitely in the top 10 in the NBA point guards.
That's
for
something.
sure. I put him in there.
Yeah, and even over the last 15 games, he's at 28.5 points per game, 51% from the field, and 47% from the three-point line. Over the last 15, like that's a long stretch of basketball.
Right.
That is a long stretch of basketball right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
What's the point total?
The point total?
Yeah. How many points you said?
20,
over the last 15?
Over the last 28.5.
That's MVP numbers.
That's MVP numbers. Yeah, no doubt about it. That's 28.5 points, 5.6 assists.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they haven't asked him about the MVP chance yet either. Or have I missed it?
You probably don't care.
I mean, I just want to hear them ask him about it. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it's what he's doing is just been something, man. It's been something. It's been something.
We deserve it though. That's the thing. We deserve it as Knicks fans.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Seriously.
How many times have we seen these other teams, draft a player or sign a player, and all of a sudden that player is like exploding, and we're like, how come we can't get one of those guys? Finally, you know what I'm saying? We make a really, really good pickup, and that guy, explodes onto the scene. I don't want to say explodes onto the scene. He was there, but, is doing the things that he's doing right now. It's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I'm glad. And we'll see if he starts to get into that MVP race. I think Julius Randle had entered the race at like 10. Maybe a week or two ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that. Randle was, in that 10th spot for MVP voting. We'll see if Jalen Brunson enters the MVP voting race at all.
Has there ever been a league MVP that's never made the All-Star team?
Didn't make the All-Star team.
That would be
crazy.
That would be, right?
That would be wild.
That'd be crazy.
He's not going to win MVP. But
I mean,
this is the talks.
Can he get most improved?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Can he get most improved?
Probably. I mean, I guess he should be able to get.
Yeah,
he's at career highs and a lot and everything.
And he, what did he average last year? 17, right?
Yeah, like 17.
Yeah, I mean, you jump up to 27, or you know what I mean, 24, 25.
Yeah.
He should get some votes for sure, no doubt.
That's a huge jump.
Yeah, no doubt. Big shout out to Ricardo. Thank you for the super chat. He said, let me get it on over here. He said, Sim, salute to you and the team. Tony, it's not about the money. He's talking about RJ. He's not improving in any part of his game, and his defense has gotten extremely worse. Most stars look fluid in everything they do. RJ looks like Herman Monster.
Oh, wow.
All right. Can I say this about RJ? And I'm barely the person that is always defending him. I'm just trying to look at things in context of where we are as a team. How many of the rookies or second year, third year, fourth year players are put into the position that RJ's put in defensively as well? You know what I mean? And just saying, all right, go guard the best wing.
That's not what he's doing this season. He's not guarding the opposing team's best player.
He was. He started
this year.
He started that way.
I don't know about
he
that.
started that way. Yes, he did. Grimes
you mean before? You mean while Grimes was hurt?
Yeah, but
he hasn't been doing that since. So
I mean, I'm just throwing something out there. You know what I mean? Like he has a lot. He's. I mean, last year that was his job. You know what I mean? You saying he got RJ's gonna be fine. RJ will be fine. You know what I mean? Like he needs some. I'm not even gonna say he needs time, but he's in a better position now. Like I said, to we don't have to rely on him to be number 3.
Exactly.
And he's not playing well, and he's still putting up 20 points a game. You know what I mean? Like when he gets the efficiency down, that's really the biggest thing. Get the efficiency down.
Every year we say something new about RJ. Well, it's because he doesn't have a point guard. It's because he needs to play the 2. It's because Randall keeps holding the ball. Randall doesn't want to give up the ball. It's because Tibbs keeps putting him in the corner. Every year it's something with this guy. Tony, I hear you. I mean, we ain't got no choice but to be optimistic about him. But
I mean, I just think it's funny how he could go from the golden child, which I thought was unwarranted, to now he's getting the type of slander that Randall got, which I think is nuts.
I think Knicks fans are prisoner of the moment when he had those runs and he was looking really good. I think, he still was inconsistent in the beginning of the season. He's always been inconsistent, and it takes him a while to figure it out and get hot. The only thing we can hope for is that he gets hot right around the playoffs.
And that's exactly what I was about to say.
Yeah,
that's actually what I'm expecting to happen. You know what I mean? Like he went on a 2-month run last year, right? Where it was like, this is the RJ we've been waiting for. So last year we didn't have a playoffs. So if he could get, if he get on that same type of run and it's later in the season, that might be exactly what we need.
I hope so.
And it might extend into the playoffs. You know what I mean? And now we'll have a different perspective. And then like Sim said earlier, it's almost of a flip-flop of him and Randall from last year. Same exact position, signed the extension, hasn't kicked in yet. Everybody's talking about the money he's making and was it worth it, and et cetera. And now this is year 1 of the new extension for Randall. He's turned it around. Why can't we believe that RJ could turn it around, especially when last year I posed the question, you think Randall could turn it around? Nobody said yes.
I did.
I recall you saying he is who he is, and it's proven.
Yeah, he is who he is. He is who he is. Like as far as holding the ball, like that, right? But I think there was a space for Randall to turn it around. But in regards to RJ is still making the same mistakes he made in year 1. He's doing it in year 4 now. Some of the same issues.
Can I ask a question? How much blame is put on the coaching staff with his regression or player development? Like we talk about RJ the player, we talk about his effort, but what kind of blame do you put on the coaching staff working with him?
I'll just say this. If you're going to blame the coaching staff for RJ, then give him credit for Randall and Brunson.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll just say that because
I agree. I agree.
But
if it's not clicking with him and the coaching staff, what's the problem? Is there not communication? Is RJ?
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. He's developing as a player. One day he's going to reach the point of this is who he is as a player. He's still growing and becoming whatever he's going to be as a player. And he could plateau right here, and you say this is who he is. He could get better. His efficiency could go up. Whatever it is, he's going to reach that point. He's not there yet, in my opinion. Still,
that's my main point. He's not at his plateau yet.
Yeah,
and I think he's far from it, to be honest. Like again, going back to Randall, we've seen the improvement from him between his first year here, his second year here, a step back year 3. You know what I mean? So, and he was what, 25 when he got here?
Yeah, 24, 25, something like that when he got here. Yeah. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the Knicks take out the Nets 124-106. Break a 9-game losing streak to the Nets. Hot shooting all around for the Knicks. They shot 54.9% from the field. They shot 44% from the three-point line. Only 73% from the free throw line. The Nets, they shot 41.4% from the three-point line. Only 45% from the field. The the Knicks, the last few games have been really taking care of the ball. Only 8 turnovers tonight for the Knicks. 10 for the Nets, but only 8 for the Knicks. They've been taking care of the ball. And if you can take care of the basketball and shoot it well, you're going to give yourself a chance to be in every single basketball game. 46 points in the paint tonight for the Knicks. 36 for the Nets. 17 second chance points for the Nets. 9 for the Knicks. Only 10 fast break points for the Knicks. 7 for the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets were led in scoring by Spencer Dinwiddie with 28 points. Day'Ron Sharpe had 8 rebounds for the Nets. Assists, Spencer Dinwiddie led the Nets in assists with 4. Jalen Brunson led the Knicks with 5, of course. Jalen Brunson led the Knicks in scoring with 40. Mikal Bridges didn't have that good of a game tonight, facing off against the Knicks. But really good win. The Knicks play the Hawks next, right? The Hawks are going through their struggles right now. And a team with great chemistry last year has taken a slide. And I wonder how much of it is DeJounte Murray. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? When I look at now that he's no longer in San Antonio and, a lot of stuff is coming out, and I kind of question his character a little bit. And I wonder if some of that, if some things are happening in Atlanta, which is one of the reasons why, you really got to be careful and know the people that you're bringing onto your team and into your organization. But the Hawks, who the Knicks play next, are not playing as well as they did last season, or the season before that, should I say? Whenever it was, they're not playing as well, and but the Knicks have struggled with him though.
The funny thing,
the Knicks have struggled with him.
I feel like he's been good for the team, and it feels like, or maybe this is media driven, but it feels like Trae Young and his feuds with Nate McMillan have been the bigger I'll say problem with the
obstacle.
team. Yeah, than Murray per se. And
I think,
like you said, he's killed us more than Trae in the games that we played.
I think they traded for Murray because quietly they might trade Trae Young, and they needed some insurance, in case. The plan was to play them together, but
Yeah.
if Trae Young,
Yeah, I think they wanted to play together. I just question, like, right after he was traded, you never heard anything from DeJounte Murray. And then right after he was traded, you started seeing like things on his IG that you mean like, what's up with this dude? You know what I'm saying? And so I just question a little bit. You know what I mean?
What did he say? I didn't.
I don't remember. There were just things that surprised me, because I always thought he was kind of
a different character
quiet
guy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Right. I always thought he was kind of quiet. And then things kind of start coming out after. And I wondered, like, all right, if they're rebuilding, why would you keep this guy around? He seems like a good building block. But
San Antonio, for all, historically they have been a tight-knit organization, and they've been able to. Not saying there was a lot of things going on, but you never heard any negativity coming out of the organization.
Right.
And
started with Kawhi.
Very rarely. And you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like it's almost just like the times maybe catching up. You know what I mean? Like it was bound to happen.
Right.
Right.
Could be.
Then you got the other Josh guy. Then you got this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. But what's your thoughts on the Knicks and Hawks in the next game? Because the Knicks have struggled with the Hawks. I don't like the matchup.
I don't either. I feel like I said it earlier today. I feel like it's a different team, though. We're a different team now. You know what I mean? Like they didn't play this Knicks team, and I'm not even referring to just Josh Hart. I'm talking about the team they played. We've improved since then. They
also got Sadiq Bey.
Now you could say that they've improved too, because I believe they were on a good run recently, right? 8 out of their last 10 or something at one point.
Who? The Hawks?
Yeah.
Let's see. The Hawks are 5-5 in the last 10.
5-5.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think it's winnable now. I think we're in a different mindset as a team. You know what I mean? Again, Brunson, Randall, I feel like they're playing their best ball of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Recent addition has been nothing but positivity. My only wish, the only thing that would have really made me say, all right, we beating it, we kicking their butt, is if Mitchell Robinson was back and available. But the centers have been more than reliable. Even with Sims not being as productive, if he's able to stay on the floor,
mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about, you know what I mean, what numbers he gives. I think his presence is enough, you know what I mean, to kind of hold us down. And then Hartenstein, he's been doing his thing. You know what I mean? I hope it can continue, because we'll need it. We can't have no production from the center position at all.
Right.
So
right.
But yeah, I think we could win this.
Yeah. Josh, any thoughts on the Hawks?
Yeah, the Hawks are mediocre. I don't think they've found their, just like Tony always says about us being able to find our stride and actually start trending upward and hitting that peak. I think Atlanta's still trying to find themselves as well, even after the DeJounte Murray trade. And I do agree. I do think there's something there. I just don't I don't think the fit is perfect for DeJounte Murray in Atlanta. I know we were talking about him being able to assist with the ball handling. He's actually been playing better than Trae Young. Trae Young is not the same player, it seems like, right? So I don't know how Atlanta's going to proceed forward, in future seasons or what have you. But right now, Atlanta's just not a as good of a team as they were last year. And I think the Knicks have a really good chance to win that ball game on Wednesday. It's on the road, so that definitely helps us. We've been really much better on the road than at home, so I think that's going to help.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the acquisition of Josh Hart gave us a little bit of a spark that we're riding right now, going on to Atlanta on Wednesday.
Yeah, the Knicks finally 16-15 at home, got a winning record at home, and they're 16-12 on the road, got a winning record on the road. Ricardo, thank you for the super chat. He said, guys, when do we start talking about Grimes? He hasn't been good for the last month or so. He's missed a ton of open threes. The difference between RJ and Grimes is, one, Grimes only gets paid $2 million a year. Okay, so that's a big difference there. And then, you got Grimes in the late first round. RJ, was the third pick of the NBA draft. And you can say, well, a pick don't mean anything, but when it does in some ways. You know what I mean? For RJ at this point in time, it's gonna matter. When you're comparing RJ and Quentin Grimes, it's gonna matter a little bit. You know what I mean? And you're gonna say, well, RJ was that third pick. He was supposed to be one of your cornerstones. Grimes, you got him in the late first round. He makes $2 million a year. You can replace him with somebody else. It's not going to be the same. So people aren't going to be mad at Grimes. It's not going to be the same way. Some people are probably right now, I haven't even looked at the chat, but right now they're probably saying, oh, it don't matter. He's going to be replaced with Josh Hart anyway. You know what I mean? Right.
And I also think his defense too. He's played pretty good defense, right. And you got to play defense to play for Tibbs. Yeah. RJ's not playing defense. And that's why he's struggling. That's
probably another difference right there. Defense. I mean, he's a defender, but you do see his minutes going down, right? Since the acquisition of Josh Hart. How many minutes did he get tonight? Quentin Grimes tonight.
I feel like he played a lot.
22 minutes tonight. Yeah, but he was playing 35, 37, 38 minutes.
That's back-to-back 22 minutes, right?
Yep. Back-to-back 22 minutes tonight. So
you might want to just lock that in right there.
And the last 5 minutes are garbage time. I don't think he's even playing in there.
Tibbs, once he set He got so upset. It's set in stone. Right?
And I think that's appropriate for him. I think that amount of minutes is appropriate for Grimes at this point.
He scored 27 points.
Grimes did? Huh?
Oh, Grimes. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Hart. I'm sorry. My bad.
Yeah, I think 22 minutes is appropriate for Grimes, whether he starts or not. I like the fact that he gives us defense. Again, I still think it's really important that he's on the floor for that spacing, for that catch and shoot threat. Josh Hart helps us, no doubt about that. And I do agree that Josh Hart is probably the reason why RJ's minutes is going to take a dip, and Quentin Grimes.
Yeah. I thought you was going to say you agree Josh Hart is a prolific three-point shooter.
Not even close. Way off, Tony. No way.
I will say this. I really do think that Hart stays on the bench, at least for the time being, because I can kind of see him used in that like Manu Ginobili type of role with the Spurs, where Manu was a starter, but he came off the bench and he played pretty much darn near the whole game, and he was in there at the closing times. It doesn't matter who starts. I mean, Grimes can play 5 or 6 minutes in the starting lineup and then put Hart in there, and then Hart's going to close. And Grimes too, probably, if he keeps his defense up. But I think I actually see him staying on the bench. I really think Tibbs is happy the way it's going, and unless there's an injury or something like that, or somebody really just falls off like bad.
I agree with you. I think he finishes the season on the bench. Now, next year when training camp starts,
he's starting.
Whatever happens then. You know what I mean? But I think for this year, you already got some chemistry built with that starting unit. You might as well let it rock. Yeah,
exactly.
Another apology to Josh. Tibbs was using Josh Hart as the lead ball handler in that second unit.
I said that.
That was you?
That was Nate. That wasn't me.
I said he was going to be the lead guard off the bench.
Right. I take that back. My apologies to you, Mr. Nate.
It's okay.
Yeah, surprised me.
Troy Flett said it's disrespectful not to start the best players. I disagree with that.
That's not true.
Whatever wins. You know
what I mean? Sometimes it goes that way. You need, you might sometimes just to make your substitutions work, you may not start your best player. You know what I'm saying? Just so that, you say, okay, well, I know this is a defensive guy and I got a defensive guy on the bench, and then I have a scorer on the bench, and you say, well, when I sub, I can bring in a defensive guy for a defensive guy and a scorer for a scorer. Right? Your scorer may actually be better than the defensive guy that's starting, but it helps your defensive rotations, what I mean? So that the fit is better. So I don't think it's disrespectful. It's just,
and it gives you juice off the bench.
Yeah, it gets you something off the bench. And like we keep saying, when you get down to the stretch of the game, who needs to be out there on the floor.
That's one of the things Tibbs always talking about, sacrifice. That's a sacrifice that he's referring to. And as long as your coach is communicating, what's going on and why, and the method to the madness, then I feel like it isn't disrespectful.
Now, I don't think Hart came here knowing that he was going to start. I think he wanted to just be a part of a winning team, and he knew that he was going to be playing with one of his teammates, and I think he was just going to embrace the fact is that it's a new role, different team, and hey, I'm going to come in and do whatever I got to do. Yeah, that's what he's doing.
The only thing I would say is tell Quentin Grimes don't get hurt, because if he gets hurt,
he's not coming back.
He might lose that starting spot if he gets hurt. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I would say.
I think he knows that.
I'm sure they remind him every night.
He's probably welcoming the okay, I'll go down to 22 to 25 minutes a game if that means less chance that I'm going to get hurt because I want to keep my starting spot. I don't know.
This is not the park. So Troy Fletty's like, oh, we got to start the best players. It's not the park because if this was the park, Jericho Sims, Isaiah Hartenstein wouldn't even be in the lineup.
Or
so I can name 5 players on the team that's better than them right now. And your example, they those 5 players should be in the starting lineup, and we don't have a center, right? So I don't think that's how you do lineups. You do it based off of fit, like Nate said and Sim said. You got to have a spark coming off the bench, and it's about the type of roles that the players are going to play. So yeah, I agree.
The Smoking Nick said Hart fits like a glove. I agree.
Exactly.
He does.
Exactly. Plug and play player.
Nope, he definitely fits like a glove. It gives, really gives us some things that we need coming off the bench, starting, whatever it is. He gives the Knicks something that they definitely need. I do want to listen into Tom Thibodeau in just a second as soon as I get it up there. Emmanuel Quickley, 14 points tonight. Thought on Emmanuel Quickley's play?
Solid.
Contained.
You said contained?
I like that word. I like that word. Yeah, he's played more contained this year. I definitely will say that he took some coaching or whatever they told him in the offseason, and he took it to heart. And, man, kudos to him.
Good defense, which is becoming like a staple of his. You know what I mean? Like now, I think you could come in and expect good defense from Quick. Obviously, some matchups he just gets overpowered or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But his effort and no pun intended, his IQ is improving.
There's your example of development. People want to talk about what Tibbs is not doing, what the Knicks are not doing from a development standpoint. Emmanuel Quickley is he's the example of development and what Tibbs has done since he's been here.
Sure.
Right. And we're having a guy like Josh Hart out there on the floor with him. It may even help his production a little bit more, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Just having, if he is going to be a guy that can handle the ball a little bit, he's probably a voice that Emmanuel Quickley will listen to. You know what I mean? Can maybe settle him down. Almost like we said Derrick Rose would be for him, but then Derrick Rose was snatched out of the lineup. Josh Hart could be that guy too. You know what I mean? So
Rose still talking to him.
When you talking it and you walking it, you know what I mean? Like when you giving instructions and you diving on the floor for loose balls, and you making second effort plays, you know what I mean? The guys around you have no choice but to follow suit.
Exactly.
Have no choice but to take heed and listen.
Exactly. Let's listen in to Tom Thibodeau, ladies and gentlemen. See what he thinks about tonight's basketball game, the win versus the Brooklyn Nets.
Have you seen something recent stretch?
I have no idea what the question is.
It's who he is. It's, he's going to give the game whatever it needs. So if we need more scoring, he'll be scoring. He's in the paint, creating havoc. I think when they went to the double team, he got off the ball quick. And then we got good offense from that as well. But he just gives the team a lot of confidence, and I thought we had a number. I thought our bench, Josh was terrific. Quick gave us great minutes. Isaiah gave us great minutes. Julius made a lot of big plays for us. So, we had a stretch where we didn't play well in the first half, and to close out the second quarter, and then we came out. We started the third well. Then we sort of had a lull, but it was steady. The bench came in, and it got us to play with more poise. But overall, just a good, solid win.
Tom, is Jalen piling up these one great game after another? You kind of wonder what everyone was thinking not having him on the All-Star team.
Well, it's pretty. I've said this before. It's pretty obvious, I think, to all of us because we see him every night. And the unfortunate part of the All-Star thing is that there's not enough spots. So inevitably, someone deserving gets left off. But in my eyes, he's an All-Star. I'm thrilled. Obviously, Julius has had a monster, unbelievable season. And so I'm thrilled for him, very deserving. But I think the better the team does, the more the players will be recognized.
Everybody saw the video of Jalen responding when you guys traded for Hart. That's probably
It's a Villanova thing.
Yeah, but college boys play with each other all the time. You don't necessarily get what we've seen in the first two games. Can you tell, right, the first time they walked before you that they had something?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to see, and I think he has really good chemistry with Julius as well. They play together. But the thing with Jalen and he is to go through big moments and have the pressure of winning a national championship together. I think, that ties you together with that group forever. So their bond is special. And the thing I love about what Josh does for the team is it's for the team, everything, and I think there's a lot of guys that, score points in this league and they really don't impact winning the way Josh impacts winning. And sometimes it's just tough plays, hustle play, kill yourself to get back in defense. We turn it over, sprint back, steal the ball back. Plays like that give your team a lot of confidence. And it's a lot of dirty work, but it's also the glue of your team. It helps you stick together. There's going to be ups and downs during a game, a season, and those types of guys, I think, are the type that helps you build a winning culture. So, we're thrilled, obviously, to have him.
Hey, Tom, with Jalen, you said it's who he is, but he wasn't putting up these numbers in Dallas. I mean, I guess he did in the playoffs, but in that respect, does he even surprise you with what he's doing?
No, well, yes and no. I guess the part of it that doesn't surprise me is knowing his makeup. I watched him grow in high school from a good player to a great player to a dominant player. And then he did the same thing in college. He starts at a certain spot, and each year he makes a quantum leap. And then all of a sudden you look back and you say, wow. And you can take it for granted because you don't realize it's incremental. And then you see, okay, this guy's doing this every night. And then it's impacting the team in a really positive way. He really cares about his teammates and cares about winning, and he's a team first guy. So I'm not surprised knowing who he is and his makeup. He's never satisfied. He always wants to do better. He wants the team to do better. And I think that type of leadership is the best leadership you could have. And he's not one of those guys that's running around pounding his chest, telling you, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, or we got to do this, he just shows you. He comes in, he's serious about practice, he's serious about preparation. Everything he does it just tells you team and it tells you winning. And that's the best leadership you could have.
Coach, with Josh being on the team now and getting more minutes, what kind of lessons do you want Deuce and Quentin to sort of learn from Josh?
Well, I think having the type of veteran player that Josh is you can learn a lot from him. I think watching how he plays, he can impact the game without even scoring. He can impact the game in so many different ways, whether it's his rebounding, his defense, his hustle, running the floor, attacking the rim. You don't have to shoot great every night to play well. And he's a perfect example of that. And I think when you look at his career, every team, I know the teams that I was with since he's been in the league, we always had interest in him. Because if you coach against them or you play against them, those are the types of guys that you respect. You respect a fierce competitor. And obviously he's got great talent. He wouldn't be here without great talent, but his competitive spirit is special.
He's hit, I think it's already either 5 or 6 threes his first 2 games, but he wasn't taking a lot in Portland. Did you kind of make it clear to him, hey, we want you taking threes here?
No, not really. I think when you look at his career, he's been roughly around 35. Even this year, he started off around that number, and then he had a month where he didn't make, but I think he reads the game really well. So if he's open, he shoots. If he's guarded, he drives it. Or move it. It'll be drive, pass. And so he's confident. I wouldn't say he's. I think he's great finishing. He's not afraid to shoot. He knows how important that is. We want to be. If we're high volume, and we're around league average, I know that puts us in a good spot.
He said you gave him the green light.
Ultra green.
Talk about the similarities. I know it's only 2 games, but the similarities you see in the 2 Villanova guys.
Hard playing, team-oriented, smart, can think on your feet, good basketball IQ, playmakers. And when I say playmakers, I'm not talking about necessarily the pass. It's whatever the game needs. Do we need defense? Do we need hustle? Do we need an offensive rebound? Do we need what is it that we need? And they make that happen. So I think all those characteristics, that's also what drives achievement. It drives improvement. The more guys you have like that, the better it is for your team. So I think when you look at winning teams in this league, they prioritize those characteristics.
It sounded like you just described a little Jimmy Butler there.
I could tell you an interesting story. Josh reminded me, when I was in Minnesota, we obviously studied him pretty extensively, and watching Jimmy in college, in the things he did at Marquette, Josh reminded me of that with the things that he did at Villanova. So, there's just something about him, and I think those type of players, they give your team heart, they give your team toughness, and that goes a long way.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is Tom Thibodeau. You just heard of me, reaping praises on Josh Hart. That's one of his guys. No doubt about it.
That's funny. The Butler comparison, because on that N1 play that he pulled off today, on the left baseline, I believe, and then he got fouled. He was falling and shot it with his right. In my brain, I was like, "Yo, that was a Butler type play right there." Just in particular, but now that he said that, that might be a real good comparison.
Yeah, man. That's
their games are very similar.
Under Harold too. You know what I mean?
Well, the effort part, I think obviously Jimmy Butler is more of a scorer than Josh Hart, and creator, can create his own shot and those type of things. But you can't reap enough praises on him right now. I mean, and no matter what he shoots or anything like that, that he's going to bring the hustle and the rebounding and those type of things. So he's always going to have, for the most part, a pretty good game for the Knicks because of those type of things that he does.
RJC said Josh Hart or Uncle Fulio. Josh Hart is going to start that too very soon. What you got to say about that? I have no problem with Josh Hart starting. I just think that it should be at the behest of RJ and not Grimes. I'll put Josh Hart at the 3 and have Grimes at the 2. If Josh Hart does start. That's just my personal opinion.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. What is it, 24, 23 games left to the season? Something like that? Yeah, we'll see how far this takes the Knicks. The Knicks are currently 5 games above 500, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see if they can remain there or get better. Yeah, 32-27 on the season. If they can beat the Hawks, they can go into the break 33-27. And I think all of us would have looked at that at the beginning of the season and signed up for it. Easily signed up for it. You know what I mean? So good things happening right now. The New York Knicks. Good things happening. 6-4 in the last 10. 16-15 at home. 16-12 on the road. We'd like to see him get that division record better. They're 5-8 in the division. See if they can get that a little bit better. They're 22-16 in the conference. Nice season being shaped up. Yeah. But I'm going to get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go around, see if anybody got any last words before we roll. Actually, I do have one last super chat I want to recognize. The Smoking Nick said, that he said Hart was a glue guy, and he's definitely a glue guy. You know what I mean? He's a glue guy. Ties it all together. He does a little bit more than that too, but he ties it all together. But anyway, last words. Nate, I'll start with you.
looking at the signings by these front office, it started with Randall, then we got Brunson, then we got Hartenstein, and then we got Hart. And honestly, y'all, we've hit them all out of the park on those players. I mean, like they all help and contribute to this team in some way. And that's all you can ask for with these low, some of these low tier signings, that they can just come and contribute. And kudos to the Knicks front office on that end. Now drafting, well, still got to get better at that.
Well,
but
with Randall, I mean, he was actually brought in by Mr. Mills and Scott Perry.
Yeah, that is true.
Stop reminding us.
I mean, he was.
I'll just say the Knicks' history lately has been good at signing players that have done well for us, and I hope it continues. Yeah. That's all we can ask for.
I mean, but I'm just saying he did, and he
played. But Randall played well under the other regime.
Right?
The new regime.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Steve Mills, he tried.
That was his hit. He's hitting Randall.
Okay.
Hitting Randall.
And he tried to bring in. He tried to do the same thing with Tim Hardaway Jr. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't he sign? Was it Steve Mills that signed Tim Hardaway Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
Right. He tried to do the same thing. He thought that Tim Hardaway Jr. was kind of, bubbling and maybe was going to turn into an all-star. So he signed him to a contract that a lot of people didn't like. Tim Hardaway Jr. never became an all-star.
He did improve under us, though.
And then he went to Dallas and played well. He probably ended up being the value of his contract, playing the value of his contract. You know what I'm saying? Even though at the time that the Knicks signed him, people were like, oh, why did he got all that money? Right? He probably ended up being, that valuable player. And then he did the same thing. Steve Mills did the same thing with Julius Randle. Took a chance, said, maybe this guy is gonna bubble. You know what I mean? Gave him really was kind of a decent contract, I guess. $19 to $20 million a year, 2 years with a player. Was it a player option or team option? I think
player option, I believe.
Yeah, one of them. So, in that aspect, it wasn't bad. In that aspect, he did a pretty good job with Julius Randle. You know what I mean? And Julius Randle's turned into a 2-time All-Star under the Knicks. So can't complain, can't be mad about that. I don't know if he signed anybody else that's still with the Knicks. I don't think so. Wait, did they draft Mitchell Robinson?
Mm-hmm.
They drafted Mitch.
They did.
Yep, they drafted
Scott
Mitchell
Perry.
Robinson. Yep, Scott Perry and Steve Mills and them. They drafted Mitchell Robinson. I think that's it. Obviously, they drafted RJ. Right. So, yeah.
Go ahead, Tony.
Oh, yeah, just shout out to the chat. Always shout out to you, Sim. Appreciate your platform as always. Panelists, Josh, it's always love even when we debate. And Nate the Great, man. I love when you come in clear, loud and clear.
Thanks.
Anybody who didn't see Knicks and Bruises earlier, I did a nice little segment where we compared our current Knicks players to former Knicks players. It was a nice, fun experience. Go check that out. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe.
Yeah. Go ahead, Josh.
I just want to say, in regards to Julius Randle, he turned out to be a really good pickup for this organization. But Julius Randle, I want to say, at this point, is one of the best players in Knicks history. If you look at it, if you go pound for pound and look at his numbers, he is. And by the end of his contract, he's probably going to be creeping up there, not Ewing level, anything like that, right? But I think he is going to be up there as far as
all-time
players and all-time Knicks. So people shouldn't sleep on that. We've said on numerous occasions, this Knicks team can compete with anybody, right? They can win a lot of games. They haven't got blown out many times this season. Again, I can count on my hand less than 5 times the loss that we've lost, but they can also beat every team in this league or beat any team in this league on any given night. Come playoff time, I'm really interested to see how this Josh Hart signing is going to help us out in the first round. With the Nets now going downward and the Knicks can get up into that 6th spot, who we play at that number 3 is going to be very important. And depending on the matchup, we can shock a lot of teams in that first round. So
I tell you what,
let's see how it goes.
Out of Boston, Milwaukee, and Philadelphia, if the Knicks get to that 6th spot,
I don't care who the matchup.
I would rather play Philadelphia. I would out of Boston and Milwaukee, I'd rather play Philadelphia.
I agree with that. Out of those 3, yeah, but I would rather play Cleveland. I hope Cleveland can overtake.
If we can get to that 5 spot or the 4th spot, then
Cleveland would be interesting.
Play Cleveland. That would be.
Or Cleveland can get into the 3 if they knock Philly out and we stay at the 6.
Okay.
Philly in a series, man. That's.
I mean, it would be. Yeah, it would definitely be tough. Yeah. The Knicks, would probably lose that series, but I think the Knicks can battle them, though. I think they can battle
a couple games.
I got a question.
We can beat them.
I got a question. What's the more dangerous playoff game to travel to, Boston or Philly? I'm talking about for us, MBK.
More dangerous?
Philly.
Probably Philly. Probably Philly.
Philly fans are crazy, man.
Probably Philly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, all right.
Luckily for me, that's only a couple hours away. I can get in my car and get back home.
I'm riding with you, son.
But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get up out of here for the night. We appreciate your time. And go Knicks, man. Good win for the Knicks. When do they play the Hawks?
Wednesday.
They play the Hawks on Wednesday. I'm definitely.
Then All-Star weekend.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna miss that game. Hopefully, I'll be able to do a post-game show because I got my own playoff game that night. So,
good luck.
Yeah. But
Good
anyway,
luck.
ladies and gentlemen, I'm up out of here. Peace.
This is MBK. Nothing but Knicks. When Sim passed the assist, you know that it's #1 show that breaks down the game. If you can't play defense, stay out my way. Dribble the ball, come down the lane.
Hey, why is
5
Noble in the
seconds on
dunk
the shot
contest?
clock.
He won
Go
last
on,
year.
win us the game.
Didn't they
You
always
want to hear
have
Nick
representatives?
updates
You don't
and
want
trade
to.
rumors? Post-game
to.
reviews, this the place you tune in. So tell a friend just to keep the ball moving. Like the page if you feeling the movement. Every game we coming to win. Give us a sub like a player that came off the bench. This is MBK. Nothing but Knicks.
I'm actually see what Sims does.